figured there will be a next time for that young man. All right, it's time for us now to go into the 600cc Supersport bikes for 100 kilometers here at Daytona. Brock told you about the bikes a little earlier, and here's the man on the pole. He's mounted on a Suzuki. He's number 28. His name is Britt Turkington, a Texan. Next to him on a Kawasaki will be the 1991 winner of this race from Canada, Miguel Duhamel, number 17.
And by the way, his dad, Yvonne, finished 14th in that Harley race. Right next to him, Steve Crevier, another Canadian, but from the other coast, way over in Port Quittlam, British Columbia, on a Kawasaki.
You want Hondas? We got Hondas. Number 1, Tom Kipp, out of Ohio, the winner last year in this class in AMA competition. And another Honda behind him in row number 2. Number 3, Randy Renfro. So stay with us, everyone. We're going to have some super high-tech, international-style road racing from Daytona when we come back.
Son, what do you think of when you think of Florida? Florida orange juice and me, right?
No, just Florida orange juice.
No. Well, I'm going to be the official spokesman for Florida orange juice, and I'm perfect for it.
I think I'm perfect for it. 12 vitamin C and minerals. There's pure, natural, get up and go in every glass. 100% pure Florida orange juice will get you on your feet.
That's my line. Just be cute.
Okay, go ahead and try it.
100% pure Florida orange juice. Get you on your feet.
Trust me, Dad. I'll sell it. You do the cute part.
Inside your smooth-running engine is a torture chamber. And under these grueling conditions, only one leading motor oil in every grade meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown. Castrol. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol. Why make things tougher on your engine? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars. Buy a case of Castrol and get up to $4 back on any air or oil filter. See dealer for details.
Gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car. What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with one-step tire care.
We're ready for the start of the 600 Supersport race here at Daytona International Speedway. 80 riders, road racing experts, 18 laps on this combination road course at Super Speedway. Steve?
Oh, yeah, and a tremendous battle between the various makes. Suzuki, Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha. Tom Kipp had a bit of a hole shot, but the pole sitter, Britt Turkington, instantly asserts himself on the number 28 bike. He, by the way, set a course record in time qualifying here. He is definitely the man to beat.
All right, so we've got those two yellow Hondas. That's Kipp and Renfrew, and the 1 and the 3 up there. They're very visible as the field sweeps around the infield section of this race course. 3.6 miles almost of really very difficult asphalt. Believe me, if you can ride a motorcycle around here, you can ride it almost anywhere.
And as I've said before, these are the guys who give gravity a bad name. Holy smoking knee pads. They've even got the knee pads now where they can quick change them if they have to during the course of a race. But of course the pit stop here would be disastrous. It's only 100 kilometers long.
That's right. As 28 Turkington, number 1 Tom Kipp, 17 Miguel Duhamel. He is up in the 2nd spot. So these riders aboard Kawasaki's and Hondas, as well as the leader on a Suzuki, those are the 3 major brands in the lead at this particular point.
And right now, as they get up on the banking, they'll have enough heat in the tires where you might see them a little more aggressive on the infield road course. Let's remember, these are a fairly hard DOT, Department of Transportation, legal tire, the same tires you might have on your street motorcycle.
As they head down the back straightaway here into the chicane, braking hard and sweeping through that little zigzag here that helps slow these motorcycles down as they ride up onto turn number 3. If they didn't have that chicane here, Steve, who knows how fast these things would be going. They're running probably 140, 150 miles an hour, even at that.
Well, if you took the chicane out, I'm not sure how many guys would show up because they don't want to go that fast, and I don't blame them. It would be dangerous.
In the old days, when they first started to run here at Daytona, they did not use the chicane, but as the motorcycles have increased in performance, the organizers and the people that run the Daytona International Speedway felt for safety's sake they had to put that chicane in.
All right, there's a good battle shaping up right there for the 4th position. That is number 3, Randy Renfro. Number 8, Mike Smith. Tommy Lynch on the number 30 bike, and Steve Crevier on the number 4 bike, the Canadian.
The news there is the number 8 rider, Mike Smith, out of Canton, Georgia. He started way back at 9th spot, but he's moved up well to challenge his teammate, Randy Renfrew, on the 3.
Couldn't quite execute the pass, though. Interesting to watch the 2 Honda team riders. Even though they're on virtually identical machines, they have different riding styles. You'll watch the rider on the 8 bike. He is always up first into the wind blast to use that as a brake. He's a little bit taller and does that more effectively. Now he makes the pass. Look at that.
Great move by Smith as the leader on the 28. That's Britt Turkington. Right behind him, Miguel Duhamel. They continue to lead it as they head out onto the banking.
But they know those Hondas are coming, and coming very quickly, especially Mike Smith, who just assassinated his own teammate under braking to make a magnificent pass. But there goes the quickest of them all. That is Britt on the 28 bike.
Right behind him, Duhamel, as they begin to move down the back straightaway. Duhamel suddenly drafts and tries to challenge on the inside, braking hard. Can't make it work, so Turkington will lead him through the chicane. Right behind him on the 1 bike, that is Tom Kipp out of Mentor, Ohio. So those riders, we've got Suzuki, Kawasaki, and Honda in the lead here.
That's right, and the theory has it the one that wins will sell the most motorcycles Monday morning. That's why the factories are so heavily involved here in this basically showroom stock class. Look at Duhamel. He is telling Britt, the Texan on the 28 bike, I'm not going to let you establish a big lead here. In fact, I may just take the lead myself. Whoa, this is good stuff. And you know his dad is down there on a pit wall cheering him on.
Well, Duhamel's raced in Europe, raced in the United States and in Canada, an expert rider, as is Turkington. So those two guys having broken away just a little bit now as Kipp, and right behind him is Smith. And remember, Mike Smith started way back and now suddenly is moving up and challenging for the 3rd spot.
We have got yellow flags waving around the racetrack, so there has been some sort of an incident here at Daytona. The yellow flags are out to warn the right, and there we see a down motorcycle, and not all in one piece either. So the yellow flags are waving in that corner, but everywhere else on the racetrack, they are still at it. 17, Miguel Duhamel trying to pick off Britt Turkington. This is the race for the lead. Can he do it under braking? That's a very popular spot.
As they sweep out onto the back straightaway, up on the banking at turn number 2. Really sort of in the middle of turns number 1 and 2, and they use almost all of this oval here, Steve. Really, and that's where they gain the really big speeds. As Turkington leads Duhamel out onto the back straightaway, down off that banking. Here they come, probably 150 miles an hour, and Duhamel challenges and takes the lead.
Duhamel appears to have the stronger machine up on the banking, wide open in 6th gear. That appears to be where he may have a bit of an advantage. And here comes the Honda team. They're not far behind.
Oh, they're sitting right back there in the 3rd and 4th spot. That is, of course, Kipp and Smith. As Duhamel will lead Turkington around, look at it, up on that high bank, and Turkington comes back at him.
Turkington has got to stay in the draft to be able to keep up with that 17 machine. Does he have more guts and better brakes? We're about to find out as they come down off the banking. And it is Miguel Duhamel on the 17 bike holding off the pole sitter. Now here's a replay of the incident that happened just a few moments ago that brought out the yellow down in that corner. Now this is Todd Duncan, who started in the very last row. And here you see what happens when gravity wins, Brock.
That's right. The motorcycle just slides out from under. We've got a little bit too much of a slip angle, and this will give you an impression of how much momentum and how much speed these guys have as they get down into that first turn. the motorcycle tearing itself apart, while Duncan, protected only by a helmet, leathers, and a little padding, rolls to a stop, obviously dazed, but apparently he is not seriously injured. Duncan begins to get back up, takes a look at the broken up bike. He'll be okay, but the motorcycle, that's finished, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm afraid this race for the moment is finished. There is so much debris that AMA has red flagged it. They're going to bring the bikes to a stop, get it all cleaned up, and then fire them off one more time.
Brought to you by Bic Men's Shavers. There's a Bic for every beard.
A twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
This is new? A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
I'm a sensitive guy, right?
So I tried it.
Big man.
It's good. It was great.
Big man.
The new Bic Twin Select. Normal, sensitive.
It really blew me away.
You made a big man out of me.
I'm a big man. Big man.
In a hurry? A lot on your plate? An hour of things to do and only half an hour to do them? At Wendy's, we have 5 fresh salads for people like you. Deluxe garden and grilled chicken salads with a soft breadstick, taco salads, and we make them fresh every day because that's the way they're best. So if you only have a second, hurry to Wendy's for a salad. They're fresh, fast, and ready to go.
Have a nice day.
Now try Wendy's fat-free French and our other reduced fat and reduced calorie dressings.
Unbelievable, spectacular, breathtaking, crash impact. 60 minutes of blazing crash action in this special edition 2-volume set. See outrageous motocross and road racing action, sensational Indy cars, Grand Prix, NASCAR, monster trucks, powerboats, and more. Only $19.95. This exclusive 2-tape set is jam-packed with magnificent racing and crash action footage featuring top drivers from around the world. Order now and get absolutely free. Havoc 1, over 45 minutes of rare footage, including some of the most thrilling and horrifying moments that made early racing history. And you'll get this incredible 2-tape offer, plus your Havoc video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-544-6664. That's 1-800-544-6664. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3.95 for shipping and handling.
We're back at Daytona, where the remains of Todd Duncan's motorcycle have been swept up and about to restart this race with 3 laps down. Now, Britt Turkington will be in the lead at the restart, followed by Miguel de Hamel and the names you see on your screen, because they reverted back to the finishing order the previous lap at the start-finish line. That was before Miguel de Hamel had made that pass. So he'll be looking to do that again. Restarting in 6 is Renfro, followed by Lynch, Rothman, Bowman, and Kirk. Now, while we were down, Glenn Jarrett had a chance to talk to the pole sitter.
Well, we're standing by with Britt Turkington, who was running in 2nd position before the red flag, but you're going to revert back to the 3rd lap, so you're going to be put back up first. How do you like that?
Well, I guess I like that rule this time, you know. I figured that's what would happen, and Miguel was kind of slamming his gas tank there when he saw the red flag, because he knew what was going to happen also. But, it really doesn't matter. I mean, whoever gets the jump gets into the turn first, and it's just going to be a close race. It's not going to be a runaway, I don't think.
They're going to start you out in 2nd, and you led it pretty well for most of the way.
Yeah, well, it's first row and everybody's lined up. It would have been nice to be, in front, so everybody understand how that works. But, we're going to start 2nd. It's going to be the same thing, and I guess I'm predicting pretty much the same race for the first couple of laps.
We're about to find out how accurate that prediction might be. Again, they will start Formula One style, a standing start, sliding the clutch, smoking that rear tire a little bit. And they are away, wheels in the air. And it is 28 Britt Turkington into turn 1 first, as he was on the initial lap. That's to Hamel right behind him, the Honda mounted number 8 Mike Smith.
Yeah, the only difference in that sort of starting order is the fact that Smith, who started ninth in the original opening laps, is now up in the 3rd spot. So Smith could be a factor here. But right now it's Turkington and Duhamel who are again breaking away from this giant field.
And again, everybody kind of walking on eggs the first few turns on the road course to make sure that the tires have enough grip. They've cooled off. A lot of things could have changed here. There is one thing that hasn't changed is number 28 is still rocket fast, and so is 17, Miguel Duhamel.
Well, unlike the guys that ran in the Harley race earlier, who are mostly dirt track specialists, these guys are all road racing experts. These 600 super sports bikes compete primarily on road courses, almost exclusively, I should say. And so these guys really know how to get around a road course.
Absolutely. And here is that race report. Number 1, Tom Kipp, and number 4, Steve Crevier. A few bike lengths separating them. That is Kipp in 4th and Crevier in the 5th spot. And here come our leaders. And that is Miguel Duhamel mounting a challenge. And you can see there that he was first off the gas. His suspension compressed before Britt's did. Interesting, Duhamel born to a road racing motorcycle family. Turkington was a roughneck in the Texas oil fields to get enough money to buy his first bike. That was back in '83.
So as they come off the chicane, look at this. Turkington is broken free from Duhamel, and suddenly Mike Smith is beginning to challenge for a second.
Mike Smith has definitely come up right behind Duhamel, right behind both of them for that matter. So you've got 3 different makes of motorcycles in the top 3 positions.
And there goes Duhamel and Smith trying to get around on the outside of Turkington. Can't make it work as they brake hard down into turn 1.
Boy, they had that crowd roaring there as they go into turn 1, almost 3 abreast. Motorcycle road racing may be the most competitive form of motorsports on the planet.
Well, it's so physical. The rider becomes such a major factor in terms of some other kinds of motorsport where the car becomes so important. But here on 2 wheels, these guys are absolutely unbelievable athletes.
And especially on production motorcycles, the rider is the key to victory. There's no question about it. And that's why the factories have been known to write some pretty good paychecks to these young men.
Okay, Turkington, Miguel Duhamel, and Mike Smith, the first 3 riders in this big field as they come sweeping through the road course. Look at Duhamel brake hard trying to get underneath Turkington, but he can't make it work, and he will go up on the banking still in 2nd place.
Well, what is working are the AMA rules. You've got Suzuki, Kawasaki, and Honda running 1, 2, 3, and before this is over, they could all be touching end to end.
Everybody wants to compete in this class, so the major Japanese motorcycles all have representatives here as another challenge for the lead. In fact, Duhamel, the same place he passed the last time, will take the lead going into the chicane.
This man has more experience than any other rider in this field. Remember, he won the Daytona 200, the biggest motorcycle road race on this continent back in 1991 right here at Daytona. And that expertise, that talent, that experience is starting to show. But here comes the young Texan. He's not done.
As they come through turns number 3 and 4, High Bank Speedway motorcycle racing at its very best. Still, Duhamel holds on as they head down toward the dogleg in the front straightaway.
And Mike Smith on the number 8 Honda, he is still going to have something to say about the outcome of this race. Stay with us. We'll be back to Daytona in just a moment with some of the most competitive racing we've seen in a long time here on American Sports Cavalcade.
A truly sophisticated automobile can tell you a lot about itself. In the placement of its controls and switches, in their feel and ease of operation, in the information the car gives you. Every thoughtful detail of the Intrepid's instruments ensures that you'll never be in the dark. Intrepid. This changes everything.
Even the Earth, that enormous interstellar rock you depend on to be solid under your feet, can wobble like Jell-O. Shimano spinning reels with Dynabalance. They don't wobble.
6 wheels, a dish on top, and a Winnebago we go. Friends since the 2nd grade. Products of Altoona, PA. That's Jack, the Butch Cassidy of the Poconos. That's me, Andy, now Mr. LA. To boldly go where no man has gone before. That's Jack's motto. I say if you can't get there by car, you have no reason being there. Well, here's to new faces and places you don't see in LA. But I still say if you got a cold old mill and a view that fits on a 12-inch screen, it doesn't get any better than this.
V4 Magna. Nothing's meaner.
Back at Daytona, where Britt Turkington's pit crew shows concern. He's still riding in 2nd place, held the lead for a while, but Duhamel, at this particular point, Steve Evans seems to have a little extra power, especially down the long back straightaway.
And they have good reason to be worried in Britt's pit, because with a rider the quality of Duhamel, once he gets in front like that, he may be very hard to catch. But Mike Smith on that number 8 Honda, he's still giving it everything he's got. Look at him muscle that motorcycle around, but he's about to get past.
That's Steve Crevier from British Columbia on board of Kawasaki, who started up in the 3rd spot up on the front row. Gets around Smith with just raw horsepower. Got a great move off the chicane, Steve, but here comes Smith back again.
Did you see how close Smith got to that wall? He was not a foot away from that wall, and we're not talking about a guy wrapped in the steel cocoon of a Winston Cup car. Whoa, man.
These are brave young men, guaranteed, as Tom Kipp on the 1, that other Honda up among the leaders, weaves his way through this little S's as they come off the front straightaway. But right now, Duhamel, Turkington, Crevier, and Smith are the leaders, but right behind him is Kipp. So there are really 5 motorcycles sort of in contention. And as we've seen before, these things can, with a little burst of speed, can overtake each other. It looks like a guy's way out of contention. All of a sudden, he's up front.
Especially when drafting is part of that equation. Mike Smith, the number 8 Honda, might be the most exciting rider visually out there now. He is all over that motorcycle like a motorized acrobat.
Absolutely. There is Duhamel, Turkington, Crevier, and Smith in a bunch as they come off the infield road course and head up onto the banking.
Duhamel bobbled a little bit going into turn 2 of the NASCAR oval. He didn't almost lose it, but he definitely lost the stability and the balance of the bike. Now he's back on the throttle. I wondered why he was down so low, and that's it.
I wonder if he missed a shift. It just seemed like the motorcycle bobbled just for a second, but he manages to stay up among the leaders. But Turkington has retaken the lead as Duhamel now back in 2nd, Crevier 3rd. That is Smith 4th, and Tom Kipp back in the 5th spot.
You know what they say about paybacks? Duhamel got passed at the same point in the racetrack where he likes to execute that maneuver. I'll tell you what, Duhamel, I think right now, doesn't mind running in 2nd. He got a little upset there. He needs to collect himself and get back into this thing.
Oh, he's back, Steve, guaranteed. He's challenging for the lead, and here comes Crevier on 4, and Smith down low on the 8. So we've got 4 motorcycles line abreast on the front straightaway, braking hard, and it's Smith into turn 1 from 4th to 1st.
And how about number 17, Miguel? He is back into the 2nd spot. There was one point where they came off the banking. He looked over his shoulder to see where Crevier was, and there wasn't anybody there. That's because he had gone to the front on his left. It was really amazing.
Okay, here comes Smith. There's Duhamel, Crevier. Turkington has fallen back, and now being challenged by Tom Kipp for that 4th spot.
And here comes Miguel Duhamel, headed for that same spot here in a couple of turns where he had some kind of a problem. Either got off in the marbles and lost traction, or as Brock said, maybe missed a gear, whatever. I bet he takes a little different line through there this time, though.
Okay, Mike Smith, yellow Honda, leads it, and in fact opened up a little bit here as they head down toward the final corners on the infield road course. There's that set of pylons that marks the end of the road course as they head up onto the banking. So let's see what kind of horsepower Miguel Duhamel can marshal here. Remember now, he's been very fast down the back straightaway.
And he's starting to pick up the draft. He got the draft. He goes to the outside, and he now has taken command of the Supersport International Challenge. What a great move there. Just total confidence.
All right, Crevier now trying to move in on Smith. Here comes Turkington, and right behind him, Kip. So we've got Smith now back into the lead.
How did he do that?
Through the chicane, a great ride. So he uses some just raw riding talent to get around Duhamel, but Duhamel uses that big power on board that Kawasaki of his to move out into the lead one more time.
I think that just made Duhamel mad. There's a lot of things out there right now that are making Duhamel mad, and he's about to aggravate it too. Look at this.
So right now we've got a pair of Kawasaki's bracketing Smith, and they get around it. In fact, everybody gets around Smith. Smith suddenly slows for a moment, bobbles, and Kip now up into the second spot.
And how about Britt Turkington? He is now back in the lead. Just sensational racing that has the crowd just shaking their heads along with us here at Daytona. 5 motorcycles this deep in the race, and any one of them could win it.
Unbelievable. And it just shows how sensitive these motorcycles are to any little bobble, just the slightest variation in speed. Will you give yourself up a position right away? So Turkington, Kip, Crevier low, trying to get underneath Kip. Can't make it. So these 3 riders, and right behind them is Duhamel and Mike Smith, who, remember, Steve, led this thing less than half a lap ago.
Oh, absolutely. And we're not even to the halfway point of this race yet. I mean, these guys have got to already be a little on the tired side. I tell you, Steve Crevier, number 4, he is coming down right now to challenge Tom Kip. He has got that draft. He can slingshot him. You've seen Miguel Duhamel do it so well right about there. But does he have the power?
Kawasaki versus Honda down the back straightaway. Look at Duhamel come. He blew around both of them to take over second spot, and Smith followed him through.
Unbelievable. Right in his favorite passing zone, Miguel Duhamel strikes like a cobra. That was incredible.
Well, he must get turned off the infield road course with real power, uses that momentum down the back straightaway, and has apparently a couple of miles an hour extra speed in hand, because right now he's going to gobble up Turkington and challenge for the lead.
And there might be a little difference in gearing between his bike and the others, where they've got it set up more for his talents up on the oval. And there is Miguel Duhamel in the lead. What a fight for second. And there is the halfway sign.
And Mike Smith underneath Turkington to take over the second spot. So it appears that Duhamel and Smith have a little bit extra speed against the other 3 riders, because they rode around in the back a little bit, but suddenly in that burst of performance down the back straightaway, both of them moved from up into the first and second spot.
And in the pit area of Britt Turkington, the crew of the 28th, their worst fears have been realized. Duhamel is back in front.
TNN viewers have come to know Race Day as their same-day source for motorsports highlights and news. This is Pat Patterson. Be sure to join us tonight at 8:30 when we'll have highlights of many of the day's big events. Don't wait for tomorrow's paper to find out what happened today. Watch Race Day tonight right here on the Nashville Network.
Race Day, 2nd edition, 8:30 p.m. Eastern today on TNN Motorsports.
If you're always looking for the best seat in the house, you gotta know the name Lazy Boy. But did you know that at Brevard's locally owned Lazy Boy showcase shops, you'll find really affordable prices on a complete selection of genuine Lazy Boy furniture, sofas, sleep sofas, modular units, and of course our famous Lazy Boy recliners, priced from only $299. Surprisingly affordable and all available in a large variety of colors, styles, and fabrics. Visit your local Lazy Boy showcase shop today in Cocoa or Milford and find out how affordable the best seat in the house can be.
What I remember most about having a cataract was the glare from lights at night, even glare when I tried to watch TV. Finally, I went to my eye doctor. Now, cataract removal isn't what it used to be. I was back home the same day, and Medicare even helped with the cost. So now I can see so much better, and my cataract is just a blurry memory
For quality eye care, call the office of Dr. G. Brock Magruder at 423-2220.
While we were away in the chicane on the back part of this big racetrack here at Daytona International Speedway, young rider Steve Downey from Corona, California gets off entering the chicane on his Kawasaki. And look at this. Steve Evans, in case you wonder why nobody wears a seatbelt on a motorcycle, think about that. It looks as if Downey was all right. He got into the hay bales real hard, but there you can see on the left side of your screen, he's up. But the motorcycle ends up in the middle of the racetrack, which brings out the caution.
And the safety barriers definitely did their job. All right, we are just past the halfway point in this race. It's been unbelievable. Here's a fight for fourth. Number 1 on the yellow Honda. That is Tom Kemp. 4, Steve Crevier. Both have contended and or led this race, as have about a half a dozen other motorcycles. It's just been wonderful.
So Duhamel, right behind him, Smith, then Turkington, who started on the pole, remember, and has led a couple of times, but does not seem to have the raw horsepower down the back straightaway that Duhamel and Smith, in a certain sense, have been able to exhibit.
And here we see a little of that from number 17, Miguel Duhamel. Pass for the 4th spot there. Crevier gets around the Honda.
So Steve Crevier, who started up on the front row as well, beginning to show some strength. Crevier has been all over. He's been up in the lead. He's been back as far as 5th place. Right now sitting in 4th, right in front of Tom Kemp. But these 5 riders have been in it all day long.
Well, right now Crevier is all over Britt Turkington for that 3rd position as we look at the number 1 Honda and Tom Kemp. What have we got here side by side? There is the 4 bike. That is Steve Crevier trying to take that 3rd position. He comes up on the Honda, the number 8 bike of Mike Smith. Utilizes the draft, decides he doesn't have enough slingshot to really make it work. Now goes to the inside. I don't think Smith expected that.
Crevier down low. Now they'll brake hard down into turn number 1, but Crevier has to back off. Smith holds on to that position. It's interesting. It looks as if these motorcycles, with the exception of the Kawasaki that Duhamel is on, are so equal, Steve. If you get just a little bit of a good shot off one of the corners, you can make it up on the long straightaway. So there's a lot of lead changing or position changing going on based on really almost perfectly equal motorcycles and riders that are very highly talented. It's difficult to make any kind of a call between skill levels. But the motorcycle, the 17 Kawasaki of Duhamel, seems to have a little bit of an edge in terms of raw power.
And sometimes a rider can do subtle things like get the bike upright a little quicker than everybody else to get more contact patch on the rear tire and be able to screw on the power a little bit sooner. With these 600cc bikes, I'm not sure that's a big factor, but it certainly is with the bigger bore machines we've seen here at Daytona. Miguel Duhamel, well, he's ridden both of them, and in some ways, I'm sure getting on these bikes to him, they almost feel slow for a while. The competition is certainly there, but he can experience and handle much faster speeds even than these.
Well, speaking of speeds, now, if these motorcycles look faster than the Harleys you saw, you're absolutely right. They're almost 16 seconds a lap quicker, even though the Harleys have a couple of 100 cc's extra. But they're bigger, heavier, older-fashioned motorcycles.
All right, move back in the pack a little bit. The battle for 7th position. Number 30, Tommy Lynch. 21, Rick Kirk. And 71, Jamie Bowman on that Vance and Hines bike. There's good racing all over the place. And here is Rick Kirk getting around Tommy Lynch for that 7th position. And you know, this kind of tremendous action doesn't just happen on a national basis. There's club racing all over the country at really neat little road courses, and you can buy a bike just like Jamie Bowman, as Brock told you in the open. It's basically a stock machine. If you've got the skill levels, you can do this.
A little mechanical skill as well goes along to tweak these motorcycles up, but most of the parts, as you said, Steve, is available over the counter. No real trick stuff allowed, and certainly no exotic factory equipment allowed.
And if you're a Miguel Duhamel, you can maybe win here at Daytona, as he did, as he said, back in '91. Now look at him move around on that motorcycle. He made a quicker move there than the other riders as far as transferring his weight for maximum traction.
Well, 2 Canadians lead it right now from either ends of the continent. Crevier from British Columbia, Duhamel from back east in the province of Quebec. And right behind them rides Mike Smith. So we got 2 Kawasaki's, a Honda, a Suzuki, and another Honda.
And there you get a good look at the Honda using that right knee, just grazing the pavement. And now now having to switch his way completely to the other side of the motorcycle as the axis turns. You know, you speak of the Canadians, motorcycle road racing has always been much more popular in Canada than it has been in the U.S.
And the Duhamel family is very well known. They've dominated for a long time up there with Father Yvonne and now Miguel. So as he continues to lead it, but Crevier is right on his rear fender.
But the two of them seem to be breaking away. I say seem to be because trying to predict this action has proven to be impossible.
All right, here's a favorite passing location. They downshift and brake hard. And look at this, Crevier on the inside and then sweeps in front of Duhamel to take the lead through the chicane. In fact, he opens out on him, Steve.
And as he was downshifting that bike into that left turn, it looked like maybe Duhamel's bike was a little twitchy, a little wonky. Maybe tire wear is now a factor.
Very possible because he's opened out. And look at this, two Hondas on the move here, attacking Turkington Suzuki. The one of Tom Kipp, the 8 of Mike Smith. And look at this, they're going to bracket him down the front straightaway.
Is that gorgeous? Just the colors alone. What a pretty picture, all happening at well over 100 miles per hour. Great stuff.
So Turkington withstands the Honda challenge for a while anyway as they go down into the infield road course.
And while we were watching that terrific action, guess what happened? Back up front, Miguel Duhamel has again taken the lead. He has just been amazing. There's no way to know what's going through his mind, whether sometimes he's pacing the bike or maybe the bike is giving him problems at certain locations of the course. All in all, just fun to watch.
Well, he apparently did bobble just for a millisecond there going into the chicane, and that gave Crevier the lead, but that's the superior power of that Kawasaki of Duhamel's made the difference.
Now the leaders were going by the backmarker Kevin McRae. That was bike number 160 you saw in your picture. And one thing I noticed looking at the bios for these guys in preparation for this race, almost all of them have as a hobby either bodybuilding or weight training or going to the gym. Turkington, he had a couple of interesting ones for a Texan surfing. Never met a championship Texas surfer. And mowing the lawn.
I wonder if he does it on two wheels.
He is known to be a real funny guy. He does a lot of voices and imitations. Just a terrific, kind of the clown prince of motorcycle racing in this country.
So here they come down the back straightaway at over 160 miles an hour. Duhamel leading that 99 motorcycle. That's a Honda Michael Lenning out of West Palm Beach, Florida. He's a lap bike, so he's not a factor here as the leaders move through. We'll be back in Daytona right after this.
Brought to you by Kawasaki. Kawasaki, let the good times roll.
My truck has 99,000 miles on it, and it's like a brand new engine.
America is talking about split fire.
I feel like I have a new engine.
No hesitation. You hit your passing gear, you're gone. Right now.
Split fire won a United States patent. It doesn't look like any other spark plug. It doesn't work like any other spark plug.
I love them.
I have them on my motorcycle, my boat, and my car.
Love them. Love them.
Split fire. At $5.99, America knows it only costs more till you use it.
I can say I've saved at least $3 to $4 a week.
I use lower octane now. It seems like it runs like I had the premium in there.
I'm probably getting, I would say about 20 miles more per tank full, and that's a lot for me.
They'll pay for themselves, basically, in the first 6 months you own them.
Split fire. It only costs more till you use it.
Get guaranteed split fire savings at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
If you could look into the future of your car, you'd do something about it. You'd pour in a one-time engine treatment of T+ with DuPont Teflon to protect your engine for as long as 50,000 miles, so it would run smoother, last longer. If you use T+, you might not worry about getting a new car. You might still have one. T+, the engine treatment with the extra protection of DuPont Teflon.
Welcome back to the AMA Daytona Supersport Challenge here on American Sports Cavalcade. I'm Steve Evans along with Brock Yates and Glenn Jarrett. And what racing we have seen. Unfortunately, there's only a few laps left.
There sure is. You kind of hate to see it end. As the two Honda riders, the team riders of Tom Kemp and Mike Smith, the 1 and the 8 bike, they are still in a duel for the 4th spot. Up ahead of them, some lap traffic as they work their way through the chicane. But right now, it's Kemp who has that 4th spot. Remember Mike Smith earlier in the going, Steve, he blasted out of the 9th starting spot, went right to the front, held the lead for a while, but now he's falling back a little bit, and I wonder, as you said earlier, possibly his tires.
Yeah, I think so. If you don't pace yourself consistently, as Miguel de Hamel seems to have done, that rear tire can get a little sketchy.
All right, Smith in the 8, Kemp on the 1, down through the dog leg. Now, here comes the hard brake for that hairpin corner at the end of the front straightaway, and that's where they really use the brakes in the gearbox real hard.
But I would tell you, it doesn't necessarily reflect any reduction in lap times. The quick guys are still the quick guys within a tick of the numbers that were running earlier on.
So here is that race for 4th spot. They've fallen back a little bit on the leaders, Crevier, Turkington, and Duhamel, but still, as we said earlier, that can change almost instantaneously. A little bobble, and suddenly a lead of 10 or 15 motorcycle lengths can go away.
And some of those little bobbles are so subtle, they're very hard to pick up on. Just the bike just appearing to shake a little bit. All of a sudden, the other rider is gone. It takes you a lap to recover from it. Well, here is number 4, and that is Steve Crevier, 28, Britt Turkington. They are still hammering on each other for that 2nd position. De Hamel is out there.
Yeah, there's some lap riders up in front of them that slowed them up possibly a little bit in the road course, but now out on the back straightaway, this is where the big power comes into play, as the two Honda riders continue to just draft each other back and forth. Right now it's Smith, but here comes Kemp up to challenge for that 4th spot.
And who knows, maybe the higher finishing rider gets to be captain of the team till the next race or something. But as they come into the left-hander, oh, and a little bit of a bobble on the 8 bike. It might have been a bit of a bump that he got into there, Brock.
Well, they were just about to try to get around for Turkington in that 3rd spot. But Turkington holds on through the chicane, but he is definitely under attack as Mike Smith pries him up on the banking between turns 3 and 4 and will get around Turkington.
And I tell you, the Honda fans are up for this one. They are just screaming. And you may have seen rider number 4, Steve Crevier, look over his shoulder to see how bad the news is. Oh, it's not very good because those Hondas aren't coming.
Now look at this. Suddenly it's Kemp on the 1 that gets underneath Turkington. He came from way back to get by both Turkington and Mike Smith.
And here is Mike Smith. The other Honda is not going to allow 28 to stay in there between them. He's trying to take him on the outside right here, but doesn't have enough muscle. That's the long way around, so he goes to the inside.
So Tom Kemp has moved away a little bit. He's broken free of those two guys and got himself a little bit of an advantage. As Tom Kemp on the 1 gets into some fairly heavy traffic, that's lap motorcycles up ahead. And look at Smith. He got around on the low side to take that position away from Turkington. A great move. Turkington balked just a little bit by a slower rider, and that was all Mike Smith needed.
Boy, Smith managed that traffic just perfectly, didn't he? You know, it's hard to say whether it's a tire or the bike or maybe even rider fatigue, but I don't think Turkington is the same package that we saw at the beginning of this race.
Well, it's possible that these DOT-approved tires, as you say, Steve, are just not able to withstand this really hard riding these guys are putting on. This is an enormously competitive race for everybody in it, but those two Honda riders, Kemp and Smith, have worked over Turkington real hard for the last couple of laps.
And, boy, I'll tell you, the Western Canadian Steve Crevier on that number 4 bike in 2nd, getting past some lap traffic there. That is William Beach and James Couser on that 69 bike. And traffic has become a bit of a story here. Well, I tell you, Crevier looks around more than any other rider. You know, that's a lot of buffeting inside that helmet. And he spends a lot of time looking behind him.
Well, look at this. This is Tom Kemp on that number 1 Honda suddenly moving in on Crevier in the 2nd spot. So Kemp has broken away from his rivals and suddenly is up on Crevier.
Well, they don't have any rear view mirrors on these machines. And we go on to the last lap with Miguel de Hamel up front, and there's the fight for 2nd and 3rd.
as Crevier leads Kip down into the road course section in the infield. If he can just hold his position here, it's very difficult to pass in the road course. The passing, for the most part, has come out on the speedway, where speed differentials are much, much more evident.
All right, there's our leader. He, too, looking over his left shoulder. That is Miguel de Hamel. I believe he was thanking that rider for letting him by so cleanly, and he is basically unchallenged right now. But we saw in the 883 Harley race, it ain't over.
Oh, it sure isn't. There's the battle for second. Steve Crevier, Tom Kip, as they are now just about to break out of the road course and up onto the banking.
There have been some moments during this race that will long remember, though. That 5 abreast going into turn 1 for the lead, that was a spectacular shot.
All right, Tom Kip is going to take a shot at Crevier. If he's going to do it, he's got, oh, Crevier bobbled just a little bit coming up onto the banking, but still uses what apparently is some really serious horsepower advantage to break away from Kip on the banking. Let's see if Kip can gather him in under hard braking at the end of this straight when they get into the chicane.
Well, Kip is letting it all out. He didn't miss that lap bike by about 6 inches when he went around. He picked up a little draft and said, see you later. But, boy, that was fairly close.
Here's your leader. He has a couple of lap bikes in between him, so he is relatively unchallenged. But presuming he doesn't break something or fall off, Miguel de Hamel is on his way to another victory here. He's won here before on the banks of Daytona, and he's only got a couple of more corners left to get through before he puts this one into his record book.
The 1991 winner of the Daytona 200 will win the Supersport Challenge here today. But here's the battle for the second place. Tom Kip and Steve Crevier, and it is Kip right at the finish line. Wow, what a great fight.
Mid-Ohio's Tom Kip started 4th, fell back a ways, let his teammate Mike Smith really do the charging for a while, and then comes back to finish 2nd. Right behind this man doing a little wheel stand through the road course, that is Miguel de Hamel. A great ride, a little styling on the way around the road course for the infield fans. Miguel de Hamel wins it here at Daytona. We'll be back to talk with him right after this.
Dodge Dakota Sport with an optional 180 horsepower Magnum V6 out-accelerates Ford and Chevy compacts and does it for under 10 grand. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Get $500 cash back on new Dodge Dakotas.
C-Spot. C-Spot Run. C-Spot. C-Spot Stay. Introducing something better, the world's first foam protectant. It's a foam so it stays where it's sprayed. No running, no dripping. It deeply cleans, shines, and protects without the mess. So why use an ordinary protectant? Try something better, the protectant with staying power.
Okay, 3 reasons not to buy BF Goodrich TA tires. The only bouncing you do is with a personal check. To you, life in the fast lane means 8 items or less. All you know about 4x4s is that they hold up your front porch. BF Goodrich TA tires when you're ready to get serious.
This is TNN, the Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.
100 kilometers of hard racing. Moments ago, Miguel de Hamel utilized his victory lap to put on a bit of an impromptu thrill show. Miguel Hamel on the number 17 bike won it in decisive fashion in the last few laps anyway. Tom Kipp on the Honda, what an exciting second place. Steve Crevier, number 4 from Western Canada, great show. Britt Turkington started on the pole but had to settle for a 4th when it was all said and done. And Rick Kirk on the 21 bike rounds out the top 10. Well, I don't know, and we've had more fun calling a race here on TNN. Let's go to the winner's circle with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, another fantastic ride by Miguel Duhamel. A little close there early on, but you were able to pull away.
Yeah, I was trying real hard to pull away from everybody, you know, and they were staying strong. And I look back and I go, oh boy, there's 4 of them back there. So it was a really good race, and I just put my head down and rode as hard as I could. And it worked out great. I came around and I got a little scared because my pit crew one time, I think, made a mistake and gave me 0.3 seconds lead. And I go, where, you know? And after that, you know, I took 2-3 good looks behind me, and I saw I had a good lead. But you never know. Sometimes they're hiding behind there.
Well, you seem to have been unbeatable so far in this series this year.
Yeah, it's going real well, and it's because, you know, the team is really working hard. You know, Larry, my mechanic, and David, you know, we're sweating bullets during the week. You know, that's hard work right there, and that's what get us into victory lane, because if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be here right now.
What about the high banks here at Daytona? You like that? Yeah,
I like that. I try, you know, to just get around there and, you know, mess people up a bit. You run high, then you run low, you run close to the wall, you know, because it's really hard to move on the banking, you know, so you got to try to think where he thinks I'm going to be going, and then go the opposite, you know. So just by the time the transition to get to me, then, you know, that's some time to win.
Well, say one word or a few words in French to our fans out there.
J'aimerais ça dire un gros merci à tous les supporters que j'ai au Québec pour Canada. Puis on va essayer d'en faire une deuxième tout à l'heure, mais on a gagné ça là. Puis merci de m'encourager.
Congratulations again. Those are the words of a happy Miguel Duhamel from here at Daytona.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Brock?
Tom, do you think, was there any chance you could have run down Miguel if you'd had a little more time?
Well, I think we could have, but he was able to get a break here and run out in front of a couple of guys, and he got through traffic real well. But we were just, sometimes when you're playing defensively like that, you tend to slow down a little bit. But that was a well-deserved second place for me, and I'm pleased with it.
Did the red flag bother you at all? Just kind of upset your rhythm or anything, or did you just be able to take advantage of it on a restart?
Not at all. We just went into it like we would any other race, and I felt real confident and positive. I went into that second round. So
congratulations, great race.
Thank you very much.
The kind of action we saw today is typical of AMA Championship motorcycle road racing, and I think it bodes well for the future of the sport in this country. For all of us at Daytona, I'm Steve Evans. Thanks for watching here on the Nashville Network. We'll see you soon.
The executive producer for American Sports Cavalcade is George E. Orgera. The supervising producer is Tom Gee. Produced by Mark Kuchin. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond P.
Just released. Here's another dramatic classic from Diamond P. It's And They Walked Away 3. That's right. By calling 1-800-257-9191, you get the latest installment of this all-time best-selling series, capturing motorsport's most perilous moments yet. Stock cars tangle and tumble on the oval high banks. Drag races experience terrifying infernos. Sprint cars dance too close and pay the consequences, and much more. And in each breathtaking incident, the driver beats the odds. To order And They Walked Away 3, call 1-800-257-9191. Or send check or money order for $24.95 plus $4 shipping and handling. Be the address on your screen. That's 1-800-257-9191.
The American Sports Cavalcade is a presentation of Diamond P Sports.